Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Sata Shishimad. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopna Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda, Hari Hari Bolo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga and His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are in the 10th canto, and we're on chapter 70 and text 4 and 5. And I'll do the first verse, or we'll do the first verse together, and then I'll just do the second normal pattern. So Brahme Mahurta Utaya Varyupashprishya Madhava Dadyav Prasana Karana Atmanam Tamasaha Param Brahme Muhurta Utaya Varyupashprishya Madhava Dadhav Prasana Karana Hadmanam Tamasa Param Brahme Muhurta Utaya Varyupashprishya Madhava Dhajyao Prasana Karana Hadmanam Tamasa Param Brahme Muhurta Utaya Varyupashprishya Madhava Tatyao Prasana Karana Hadmanam Tamasa Param. I'm just going to do the second one. So, ekam swamyam jyotirananyam avyayam swasam staya nitya nirasta kalmasam brahmakyam asyodbhava nasahetubi swashaktibi lakshita bhava nivritatim. So we'll do the word for word. Brahme muhurte, during the most suitable period of the day for spiritual activity, before sunrise. Uttaya, rising. Vari, water. Upasprishya, touching. Madhavaha, Lord Krishna. Dadyao, meditated. Prasanna, clear. Karanaha, his mind. Atmanam, upon himself. Tamasaha, ignorance. Param, beyond. Ekam, exclusive. Swayam jyoti, self-luminous. Ananyam, without another. Avyayam, infallible. Swasangstaya, by his own nature. Nitya, perpetually. Nirasta, dispelling. Kalmasham, contamination. Brahma akyam, known as Brahman, the absolute truth. Asya, of this universe. Hudbhava, of creation. Nasha, and destruction. Hetubihi, by the causes. Swa, his own. Shaktibihi, energies. Lakshita, manifest. Bhava, existence. Nirvitim, joy. So translation. Lord Madhava would rise during the Brahma Muhurta period and touch water. With a clear mind, he would then meditate upon himself, the single, self-luminous, unequaled, and infallible supreme truth, known as Brahman, who, by his very nature, ever dispels all contamination, and who through his personal energies, which cause the creation and destruction of this universe, manifests his own pure and blissful existence. So we can repeat together. Lord Madhava would rise during the Brahma Muhurta period and touch water. With a clear mind, he would then meditate upon himself, the single, self-luminous, unequaled and infallible supreme truth, known as Brahman, who, by his very nature, ever dispels all contamination, who through his personal energies, which cause the creation and destruction of this universe, manifest his own pure and blissful existence. So I'll read the purport, and there's some commentaries by the acharyas, and we'll do some sharing after that. So, purport. By the servants of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that the word bhava in this verse indicates the created beings. Thus, the compound word lakshita bhava nivritim means that Lord Krishna gives pleasure to the created beings through his various energies. Of course, the soul is never created, but our material conditioned existence is created by the interaction of the Lord's energies. One who is favored by the Lord's internal potency can understand the nature of the absolute truth. This understanding is called Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains that his energies are divided into inferior and superior, or material and spiritual potencies. The Rama Samhita further explains that the material potency acts like a shadow following the movements of the spiritual reality, which is the Lord himself and his spiritual potency. When one is favored by the Lord, he reveals himself to the surrendered soul, and thus the same creation that formerly covered the soul becomes an impetus for spiritual enlightenment. Samijnana timiranda shagananjana shalakya chakshuru militam yena tasmai shrive. Like everything that's related to the Shastra and that's related to Krishna, it just, I don't know, every time I get to prepare class, I get really enlivened because there's so much, not only content, but, you know, to me it's like this spiritual song that keeps getting repeated through different verses and different melodies and all these different things, because it's just reading through this, you know, you're seeing that Krishna, who is this single, self-luminous, unequaled, infallible, supreme truth, you know, by his very nature dispels all contamination. And then you've got, then through his personal energies, which cause the creation and the destruction of this universe, manifests his own pure and blissful existence. And, you know, again, for me, it just magnifies and exemplifies why we should take shelter of Krishna. You know, and I'm sure all of you have been through so many different things, interpersonal things like, you know, personal, physical, social, whatever it is, you know, so many things that are uncomfortable, painful, you know, all these different things, adibautic, all these different things, you know, that can be so challenging in this material world. And yet here, you know, we're given this beautiful verse that, you know, lets us know that if we take shelter of Krishna, then all the contamination, all the unwanted thoughts, all the, you know, impetus for acting on a way that isn't Krishna consciousness will be taken care of if we just do that simple thing of taking shelter of Krishna. And then I was thinking, because I was, you know, as I was preparing for this, and thinking about Prabhupada and what he's actually given us is like he's handed us a key to the city. He's handed us a key to the world. He's handed us a key to the spiritual reality of our relationship with Krishna. And he just freely gives everybody, he makes tons of copies, he gives them out to everybody and said, here's the key, go open the door. And obviously there is some personal responsibility for taking the action of opening that door, and some personal responsibility related to the value, knowing the value of that key and what it opens. But you know, he's just, and that key, wow, it's unlimited too. You know, I mean, sometimes I think I don't even realize what the value of that key is. You know, he gave us the key in the form of the Maha Mantra. You know, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this Maha Mantra is another key that opens the heart and totally connects us to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we've heard many times that when we're chanting the Maha Mantra that Krishna's there on the tongue, you know, that he's there with us, he's in our heart. So it's all complete. Everything is so complete in the complete that Krishna is. You know, this whole life with Krishna, and I was thinking about that too, how complete that is, because one of my favorite parts of, let me see if I can find it. I think this is it, yeah. In the introduction, and I mean, the introduction is just packed. It's just massive as far as the content. Of course, everything that Prabhupada shared was packed, you know, fully. Let me see if this is, oh. Oh, I know I marked it. I hope I can find it. Oh, Govinda. Yeah. Yep. So it's page 14, depending on which Bhagavad Gita you have. But the complete whole must have everything within our experience and beyond our experience. Otherwise, it cannot be complete. The complete whole, personality of Godhead, has immense potencies. How Krishna is acting in different potencies is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. This phenomenal world or material world in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are completely adjusted to produce complete resources which are necessary for the maintenance and substance of this universe. There is nothing extraneous, nor is there anything needed. This manifestation has its own time fixed by the energy of the Supreme Whole, and when its time is complete, these temporary manifestations will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. There is complete facility for all the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, and all sorts of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. So Bhagavad Gita contains the complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom. I love that. It's just like complete. Everything's complete. There's nothing that, isn't there that we don't need, that hasn't been arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so, here we are, the living entities, and I think, what this, probably all the verses are kind of like throwing down a challenge for us, and, also making us aware of the two sides of the same coin, or like a two-edged sword, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that the word bhava in this verse indicates the created beings. Thus, the compound word lakshara bhava nivritim means that the Lord gives pleasure to the created beings through his various energies. And, my mind popped off, okay, but whether we enjoy the material energy or we really dive into the happiness and the enjoyment that is Krishna consciousness are two very different things, and can cut very different ways. And of course, one who's favored by the Lord can understand the absolute, and that's why we take shelter of him, because when we do that, then that whole completeness that Krishna is shared with us, and we get complete joy, we get complete knowledge, bliss, understanding, perspective, compassion, complete compassion, complete empathy, complete an understanding that, we're fully, completely responsible for our own actions and our own, choices that we make, that we're fully responsible for obtaining that completeness. And so I was thinking that, it can be quite a bit of a challenge, if you do take up the shelter of the material world, because it indicates in the verse that there's these two sides, the material energies. There's this internal potency that you can have this internal amazing relationship with Krishna, or you can dance with the material energy and get broken hearts, probably broken bones, probably broken everything. And then there's the spiritual and the material, the superior and the inferior. We understand all of that. But what's really amazing, because Krishna is so complete and everything that he does, all his purposes, is that both of those things are meant for the soul's benefit, to bring them closer to him. It's not that he's doing anything, materially to make people, living entities suffer just for the sake of suffering. He wants those living entities to turn towards him, and he'll do anything. And he knows that they're so engrossed, in their own self-focus, that it's going to take something heavy to turn them around. And it may take multiple lifetimes of that. I've shared a lot over the last probably quite a few times that I've given classes that my father hasn't spoken to me but once in a year. And for some of those of you who haven't been here, it's because he had given me a table that he thought was a family piece that wasn't, and I ended up giving it to my niece. And I didn't tell him about it, and so he hasn't spoken to me because of that. because he's really attached to material things. And it's not just about the table, obviously, but they're so attached, he and his wife are so attached to material things that they are willing to give up and sacrifice their own family relationship. And to me, that stands out, of like really exemplifies what material attachment is that they're not concerned with my happiness or my welfare or all these other things, but, just whether I gave a table to a family member and want to create discord because of that. And it's such a perverted understanding and attachment to material things. So it's just an example. And at the same time, it makes me intensely sad because that's his life. That's his identity, is with material things. And because of that, he's going to suffer immensely because of it. And so, again, there, in this key that we've been given by Srila Prabhupada, there is this very weighty responsibility for understanding, our responsibility, and that's introspection. Taking up the challenge of being introspective, staying introspective, not becoming complacent, which is really easy to do, especially in the material world, and especially kind of physiologically as we're wired. The neural pathways work in a way that it's really much more comfortable not to be changing things, but do things, the same. And certainly we can use that to the benefit of our sadhana and many other things, but we also have to be flexible, like a blade of grass, to be able to, work through this material world and through our Krishna consciousness. So I'll go through now. I want to share a little bit the commentaries, because there's especially, they repeat themselves somewhat, but there's a couple of key points that I wanted to bring out in those, and a couple of other things too. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, or shares, that just as another person meditates upon Krishna at the Brahma Muhurta, so Krishna meditated also upon himself, beyond matter, Tamasa Param, the one Supreme Lord, the one who reveals himself, Swayam Jyotihi. But it is also said that others such as Sankarshan are also the Lord. Yes, but there is no other avatar compared to him, Ananyam. And moreover, even though Sankarshan and other portions of himself have eternal separate existence, Krishna is still complete, Avyayam. And so, just unpacking some of that is that, again, we get back to this core essence of who the Supreme Personality is and why he's the one that we should take shelter of, is that there is no other avatar that's compared to him. He's the source of all sources, and so multifarious, and he's the one who reveals himself. And so for us, it's important, again, to take shelter of him so that we have that understanding, because one, he's clarifying who he is, and the acharyas are clarifying who he is, so that there can be no doubt, because doubt can has the potential to destroy your faith, if you have doubts. And that's why we inquire from Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, to keep us on that razor's edge, so that we don't cut ourselves, so that we have real understanding, so that we don't, wrap around and get entangled in the material world. And then also in this, we're also seeing, understand that one of the reasons that Krishna is meditating on himself during the Brahma Muhurta, and meditating on himself, is he's setting the example for us of what we should do. He's always continually setting the bar for us and showing us the way, because not only is this a key that we're getting through the Vedic literatures and through Prabhupada, it's also a very specific and exact map on how to get back home, back to Godhead. It gives you all the tributaries, it gives you, all the information, it gives you, everything that you need, because it's complete, gives you complete direction on how to get back home, back to Godhead. So the reason for his appearance is his mercy.
By his direct presence, which all men can see, he removes ignorance. So yet another reason to stay in his association and association of the devotees, right? From him appears the impersonal Brahman, Brahma Akyam. Here are similar statements. And it goes through Madhyam Mahimanam Param Brahmeti Sabditam Vechyasya Nuragritam Me and then Brahmano Hi Pratishtatam. Brahma Akyam can also mean he who is called Brahman, as in Brahmakyam, Brahma Namakam, and Brahmeti Parameti Bhagavan iti sabdyate. The Lord's excellence is described. From him come all sorts of happiness, seen in the living entities, lakshita bhava nivritim, through his energies which give knowledge and devotion, and which create and destroy the universe. So in other words, we take shelter of him, then we really get knowledge and devotion. Whereas if we tap into the material, then we're going in a completely different, endless cycle of duality, right? For the devotees, Krishna gives happiness by his bestowal of prema. For the followers of Dharma, he gives happiness by his careful observance of the rules of Dharma. And for the sinful, he gives happiness by killing them and then giving them liberation. So again, everything that he does is pointing back to him, or, creating a situation to kind of push people back to him, because he wants that relationship. It's not like, again, there's no say, it's like all, what's the word? No, it's not coming. There's no ill motive behind anything that Krishna does. It's unconditional. His love is unconditional. His motives are purely spiritually unconditional materially. So then Jiva Goswami shares that Ratres Chadurdasho Bhago Muhurto Brahma Uchyate. The 14 parts of the night are called Brahma Muhurta. Oh, the 14th part, it's not written correct. The 14th part of the night is called Brahma Muhurta, to instruct the people. And as a pleasant feature of his human pastimes, he meditated and imitated various activities of humans, becoming stable in mind, which is what will happen if we meditate on him, by pranayama, pranasankarana. He meditated on the Supreme Lord, Atmanam, beyond Prakriti, tamasa param. Verse 5 describes the Supreme Lord. His energies, which cause creation and destruction, refers to the jivas. Creation and destruction include other actions as well. Or, he meditated on his own form, Atmanam. His form was pure, beyond Prakriti. Shruti says that tamasa parashtat. The Lord is beyond Prakriti. Narayan Upanishad. His form is not a combination of elements. He is one, ekam. Shruti says, ekam evadvityam Brahma. The Lord is one without a second. Chandogya Upanishad. Though he is one, he has intrinsic energies. He manifests Jyotihi, variety, by his own self, Svayam. Shruti says, Atma Prakasham. The Lord is self-manifesting. Therefore, nothing else exists except him. Shruti says, Neha nanasti kinchana. There is no other being at all. Chandogya Upanishad. Natasha karam karanam cha vidyate, natat samaschadya dikascha drishyate, parasha shaktir vividaiva shrutyate, swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. He has no body and no senses. No one is equal to him or higher. His supreme power is manifold. His actions are naturally revealed with knowledge and strength. That's the Svetashvatara Upanishad. His glancing at Prakriti is carried out through his energy. Thus, unlike Prakriti, he is devoid of change or decay, akshayam. The Lord's purity has been shown. He has no contamination at all. All contaminations are completely removed by his power. And I was thinking, as I'm getting tongue-tied, that's a shower of his mercy, right? And then I was tying this all back into, And like the other thing that came to mind in this shower of mercy was the Sri Shikshashtaka, and how this verse is again another key to how we can become fully Krishna conscious, and it's so packed with everything. You've got this key that when we take shelter of Krishna, it washes us clean, right? Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhavahamakshi, can't even say it. Bhava Maha Devagni Nirvapanam. And then there's this means or this pleading with Krishna, and understanding the position where, it's, oh my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune, like recognizing what that mercy is, for the living entity, and you have so many names, and yet you've bestowed so much mercy on this fallen and conditioned souls. I'm so unfortunate that I could continue to commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and I do not achieve. So there's this lamenting, and then there are means of asking and pleading sincerity, sincerely. And that's another key of our responsibility is finding the sincerity in our heart to offer everything to Krishna, to give him everything, because and why wouldn't you? Because what's so unique solely to Krishna consciousness is that there is this massive reciprocation that takes place. Because, and I'm sure you've all experienced this where, in practicing your Krishna consciousness, you get these amazing realizations. You have these amazing experiences, out on Sankirtan, I'm sure, where, Krishna reciprocates and he shows you, I'm here, right? Like one of the small things that happens to me, because I'm not out on the front lines, and sometimes I wish I had that. Anyway, not my strength. But, there's still these moments, like many times when I was walking japa on the driveway, I would, have a thought that would pop into my mind, and then there was a question of whether it was actually a valid thought or not. And then I would look down, and there was this rock in the shape of a heart. And it happened over and over and over again. And so, that's my personal experience. But I'm sure you've all had these little moments where Krishna's given you these little teeny, beautiful pearls of realization that validate that you're doing the right thing. And that's what's so unique about it. And so then, of course, we get to text 3, which is about humility, right? And that's another part. We unlock this door to Krishna consciousness. But these are these little things, these other small keys of opening the other small doors as we go through this Krishna conscious door, to our developing humility is one of those keys. And then, we get that we, don't get distracted. That's kind of the next instruction of, I don't desire material wealth, materialistic followers, a beautiful wife or a husband, fruitive activities, get caught up in flowery language and all these other things. All I want is unmotivated devotional service. So again, this prayer, but like not getting distracted by all these other material things. That's what it's, what we're asking for. And then, again, realizing what's missing. I'm your eternal servant. Because of my fruitive activities, I've fallen in this horrible ocean of nescience. Now please be causelessly merciful to me. Consider me a particle of dust. So again, this continual prayer and realization of what we're being offered, and this humility and developing. So what we do and how we do it, it's like the Mahamantra is the means and the end. And then, as we develop our Krishna consciousness, we get to this place where we have this separation of connection, which is really difficult, and, not wanting to ever be separated. And, my Lord Govinda, because of separation from you, I consider even a moment a great millennium. Tears flow down from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I see the entire world is void or vacant. Right? And so, there's this realization of what you're actually missing, and then this separation of connection, which is a connection in spiritual practice in Krishna consciousness. Even though you're separated, you are connected. And the deeper the separation, the deeper the connection, which is so totally different in this material world. And then, the 8th verse gives us that full surrender, which is also required to, have a relationship with Krishna. And, there's, again, I constantly go back to the Bhagavad Gita because there's just, there's this happiness that comes from having this, and we're not talking about material happiness. We're talking about full satisfaction through spiritual happiness, that can carry you through the darkest places, the darkest times, the darkest of circumstances, in the material world. There's this happiness that comes with, having that relationship, and to just, kind of recognizing what it is that we have. Again, for me, and I was reading back through the introduction, is just one part that says, one cannot say anything about the transcendental world without being free from materially contaminated consciousness. And that's kind of like, boom, gut punch. But, here we are, by the great acharyas, and saying all contaminations are completely removed by his power. So we've got everything we need in the Mahamantra. We've got everything we need in the association. And we've got, everything in action, in taking action. And that meaning taking action in service. Because service isn't just some rote physical activity. It's actually spiritually engaging your body to do physical activities for Krishna, which spiritualizes every single thing that you do. And so, again, we're afforded so much opportunity. And so my invitation for myself, because I try to give class to remind myself of the things that I need to do and be enlivened by the things that, Krishna and Prabhupada and my spiritual master are sharing through, the study and giving a class. But is just, maybe try to remember, because at least for me, I'm a very visual person, so try to remember to carry around this key that's been given to you by your spiritual master, that's been given to him by his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, that's been given to him by Krishna. We have this key, and we can carry it in our hearts or on a little chain, however it is that you can imagine, in your japa bag, in your books, however it is that you can remember that there's this amazing gift. And the other thing that he also shares is, since the Lord by nature has no fear, he protects. And so there's going to be protection for us in this challenge as we walk across this razor's edge in Krishna consciousness. And it's joyful. It's something my spiritual master has been really, really, really emphasizing, is that everything is joyful in Krishna consciousness, right? Sorry, I didn't leave time for questions, but all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the association of the devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Jai.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Amaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Okay.
Thanks, Julie. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Hari Bahudadri Jasarva Shakti Tatarpita Niyamatasmaranena Kala Etadrishi Tavakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishamiha Janina Nuraga Trinada Pisunichena Tarora Pisahisnuna Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Swari Babatad Bhakti Haituki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kankaram Patita Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrishim Vachintaya Nayanam Galada Shruya Graya Vadanam Gadgada Rudaya Gira Pulakir Nichitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahaneva Vishyati Yugaitam Nimishena Chakshusha Prabhisaitam Sunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename Asli Shiva Padaratam Panastumam Adarshanan Mamahatam Karotuva Yatata Va Viditatu Lampato Mat Prananatas Sa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to all living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O my Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy names? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs on my body stand on end at the recitation of your names? O Govinda, feeling your separation. Moments be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing to brain, and feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, and makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Jai.